For many of a generation, you will of course dance the night away to this particular band. Who remembers the brilliant Jerry and the Pacemakers? Oh yes, they achieved international success around the world, all thanks of course to their fun tracks and their sort of memorable songs. Everybody knows, do they not, Ferry Across the Mersey. Jerry Marsden was that effervescent, smiling young boy that really captivated the world, and for a particular period remained part of that Mersey beat sound, up there of course with the brilliant Beatles. They were managed by the same person, Brian Epstein, and of course he really went on to staggering success quite literally around the world, encompassing film, stage shows, and more importantly gracing the charts and all the big TV shows, including the likes of Ed Sullivan, the biggest TV show ever in the United States at that particular time. Well, the sad news is we've now finally lost the very final member of that brilliant group. Les Maguire, who's just passed away, was the last surviving member of Jerry and the Pacemakers, the Mersey beat group formed by Jerry Marsden way back in 1959 and who rivaled the Beatles in the 1960s. Now, after signing to EMI Records in 1963, and subsequently being managed by Brian Epstein, Jerry and the Pacemakers achieved immediate success in the British charts and later in the United States. They were the first group to hit #1 in the British charts with their very first 3 singles, starting with How Do You Do It? The band would go on to have many more hits like I Like It, You'll Never Walk Alone, Ferry Across the Mersey, and I'm the One, amongst many others. I was lucky enough to meet Jerry Marsden on a number of occasions. He was a warm, engaging, fun man, as only Scousers, aka Liverpudlians, can be. I did meet Les very briefly also, but of course, it's always the front man, isn't it, that gets the lion's share of the attention. What I have to say is simply this: it's quite sad when people go away, and obviously, it's a sad day for Les's family. But the bottom line is, with people like that, they leave a wonderful legacy, a legacy that could easily be picked up 100 years down the line, because those songs, those great early rock and roll Mersey beat songs, truly never go out of fashion. As I say, I worked with Jerry Marsden on a charity version for his record, Ferry Across the Mersey, which then went on to make a lot of money for a national tabloid newspaper. He was a great fun guy, and as he told me, he couldn't quite believe just how quick and how success really turned on them. He said nobody prepares you for it, and the bottom line is you don't know how long it's going to last, so you cling on to it like a raft and enjoy the moment for as long as you can. Now, I'd love to know, were you a fan of Jerry and the Pacemakers? Did you like their music? Or were you more Freddie and the Dreamers? Or simply, were you Beatles or a Rolling Stones girl? There were so many wonderful groups of that era, weren't they? Like the Dave Clark Five, Herman's Hermits, you name it. Everybody had an individual sound, but more importantly, cracking hit records that we still love even today. Now, as I'm saying this, I'm hearing this song, remember, by Herman's Hermits. I think it's called Mrs. Brown, You Have a Lovely Daughter. Who remembers that? And Henry VIII, I am. I know. That's, oh yes, it's making you feel ancient. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.